Hi everyone and welcome back to Can Cook. I'm so excited to film a video today. I've got heaps of cooking planned for the day, but I wanted to get started on a recipe that's super easy, uses up your leftovers, which I love. It takes quite a while, so I wanted to start with it in the morning first up. And it's also an ingredient that I'm going to use in some dishes that I'm making later on today. So I'm going to show you how to make a chicken stock from scratch. It's actually so simple, anyone can do this. When I'm grocery shopping, I see like chicken broth and chicken stock are the same thing. And I see it being sold for just like a ridiculous price when really it's like the cheapest thing you could possibly make. It uses up leftovers and scraps and water. So you should have all of the ingredients in your fridge. If not, it's something you can kind of think ahead and save your ingredients to make this chicken stock recipe. It's super simple. So let's get into it. Okay, all you need is some very simple ingredients to make this chicken stock recipe. First things first is a chicken carcass. Now what I do is when I make a roast chicken, which I've done on my Instagram if you want to see how I make roast chicken. Once all the meat is picked off the carcass, I always put it in the freezer and save it for chicken stock. So I have a frozen chicken carcass here. Then you'll need some celery. It doesn't matter if it's a bit old, it's actually probably preferred. Some carrot, an onion. And then I've got here some herbs. So I've got some kind of half-used parsley, and I also have some oregano here, which I haven't used yet, but I'm using in a recipe later, so I'm going to open that up. And then we do some seasoning as well. So some peppercorns, which I'll get. So some peppercorns. I buy whole peppercorns and fill up my pepper grinder. So a few of those, and also just some cooking salt. You can also do other flavorings like bay leaf, but I don't have any. What else could go in there? It's very flexible. You can do anything you want really. You just want to create a really nice base flavor. So let's get started. So easy. Let's go. Oh, the other thing you'll need is a pot. I like to use this big one, but you don't need a pot this big at all. You know, just the pot that you cook pasta in, something like this will be enough. Okay, so the best thing about a stock is you don't really have to do anything. It's so easy. So with my carrot, I'm literally not even going to peel it. I'm going to chop it into 4 chunks, like so. I might actually do 2 carrots. 1.5, because this one's massive and I'm going to use carrot later on. So 1.5 carrots, throw that into your pot. Done. Now with the celery, I'm just going to peel that back and just give that a wash because we don't want dirt in our stock. Perfect. Now I'm just going to trim that white part off. Don't need that. And I'm just going to chop this into chunks. I'm going to put the leaves in as well because I think they have really nice flavour. Okay, that was 2 stalks of celery. Now with our onion, this is so easy as well. I don't peel it. Down the middle. And I'm just going to slice it into 3 chunky wedges. Now the reason you don't have to really peel anything is because we strain the stock at the end. So any pieces of like onion skin and things like that, they're not going to be caught in the final stock. Excellent. Now I may as well throw my chicken carcass in as well. Doesn't matter that it's still frozen, that's fine. Just throw that in. Next up is our herbs. Just going to use about half the bunch here, and maybe this much this much oregano, so just like a handful. What I'm actually going to do, oh, is that a bit dirty? Just give my oregano a rinse because it's a bit sandy. What I've got here is some butcher's twine, which I love. Sometimes I use this to tie up my chicken, things like that. Oh. So what I'm going to do is just get a bit of that, and I'm going to tie my herbs together. This is actually called a bouquet garni. I think it's French. Yeah. So I'm going to tie them together. It's not necessary, but it just means it's really easy. Once the stock's finished, I can just pull the herbs out and they're all together. In they go. Fabulous. Now I'm going to pop in maybe 6 to 8 peppercorns, maybe 10. Don't need a lot. And about a tablespoon of salt. Perfect. Now I'm going to fill this pot up with water. I've got 2 liters of cool water, or just like tap water. See how much we need to actually do. You just kind of want to just cover all of the ingredients. So I've probably done about 3 liters of water, and it's covered everything nicely. So what I'm going to do is pop the lid on and turn my stove on to a low to medium heat. You just want the water to be kind of rolling. You don't want it rapidly boiling, and you don't want to reduce the water. If anything, we're just flavoring the water with everything that's in there. So it doesn't need to be a super high heat at all. I'm going to put mine on 4 here and see how that goes, and I can adjust it. So we're going to leave this for probably an hour, even longer. I like to come back, see what it looks like, look at the color, taste it, and we can season it, cook it longer, take it off. We'll see how we go. That's the best thing about stock. You just kind of, you can't mess it up. So easy. Okay, see you guys in about an hour. Hi guys, I'm back. It's been an hour and a half since I put my stock on, and my whole house smells amazing. It smells like chicken soup. So I'm back. I'm going to have a taste of this and see how we're tracking. So I've just like stirred it once the whole time that it's been cooking, just to kind of break up the chicken carcass so that all of the flavor was getting through the stock. So the color is kind of that nice pale chicken stock color. Doesn't just look like water anymore, and all the veggies are really soft. So what I'm going to do is actually just spoon a little bit out and let it cool down. I want to have a taste. I have a feeling there's not enough salt, so we'll see. Really don't want to burn my mouth. Oh, it tastes really nice, but I do think it could do with some more salt. But it has a really nice stock flavor. You get the celery, the onion. Really good. Let's throw in a bit more salt. Now what I love about making stock from scratch is anytime that I've bought chicken stock or chicken broth, it's just way too salty and it kind of ruins the dish that you're making. This, when it's homemade, it just has such a better flavor. Always. Okay, give that a stir. And I think we're done. I told you it was easy. Next thing I'm going to do is strain everything and portion it into separate containers for the freezer. Yeah. It just needed that little touch of salt just to bring everything together, but it's tasting really nice. And it's time to strain. I'm going to show you how I do that. So let's turn the stove off. Move this lid out of the way. And I think I'm going to strain it twice. So the first strain, I'm going to do using this big colander, which I strain my pasta and things like that. I've just got here another pot. You obviously need something to pour it into. So let's start with that. This is going to get the bulk of the things out. So like chunky carrot and herbs and things like that. So, this in. Ah! Oh my god, I just got some liquid on the hot stove and it went crazy. Should I edit that out? Okay, take 2. Try not to let it splash up and burn you in the face. I've never concentrated so much in my life. Okay, first strain done. Woo! As you can see, there's all of those chunky bits in there. So we're gonna discard that now. We don't need that. So I'll just pop that in the sink for now. Now what I want to do is do a second strain. I'll just show you. So what we're left with is a beautiful stock, but there's still some pieces in there, like little bits of chicken that I want to remove. So we're going to strain this a second time. So now that I have my stock, I've poured it into this pot. This is annoying how many containers I'm using, but I really want, I don't have anyone to help me. So if you had someone to help you, I would just put this over the top of the same pot and strain it, but I need something where this will sit still. So I'm going to pour it into this container. Lots of containers going on, but no helper, so got to do it for myself. So I've just got here this pot. I'm going to pour it into a finer strainer and get rid of all those little bits. Let's see how we go. Ta-da! Yay! You can see it's such a lovely color, and it does have a bit of fat going through it, but once you chill that, you can actually remove the fat if you like. It kind of settles on the top there and goes hard, and you can take that off. So you can either store it in the fridge in a container like this, but what I actually prefer to do, because there's only 2 of us at home, we don't really go through it that quickly, is get some Chinese food containers and measure out portions of the stock. So what I'll do is get 1 cup measure, and I'll measure 3 cups or 2 cups for a container, and on the top I will write chicken stock 2 cups or chicken stock 3 cups. So that way when I go to make something like a risotto, I will just pull a container out of the freezer. On the top it'll say 3 cups, and that's a way that I know how much I have before I even start cooking. So the risotto might need 3 cups or 5 cups, so I'll know how much to get out of the freezer. It just makes it so much easier when you're defrosting, when it's in smaller portions. So I'll either pop it out into a pan and defrost it in a pan, or I'll put it in the microwave and microwave it. This is 3 cups of stock here in this container, which is perfect. So what I'm going to do is put stock in all of the containers and just sit them on the bench and allow them to cool down a little bit before I put the lid on and put them in the freezer. And that's it. That is how you make a chicken stock. I told you it was easy. You'll be surprised at the flavor, especially when you're adding it to cooking. So like if you make a chicken soup, a risotto, like a really nice sauce of some sort. Like later I'm making some meatballs with the sauce. And the flavor is just so much nicer than a store-bought chicken stock. And I mean, sometimes I do use store-bought chicken stock because I don't always have this in the freezer. But it's pretty simple and uses leftovers and scraps up. So I try and make it maybe once every 3 months or so, and pop them in the freezer. And once I've run out, it's time for a new one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Nice and simple one, but I think something that you should all try at home and just see the difference. Oh, so yum, so cheap, so easy. Okay, thank you so much for watching another episode of Can Cook, and see you soon.